Good morning, everybody. I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto, broadcasting live from Leander, Texas. It is 6:43 in the morning on January 13th, 2022. And yeah, welcome to my show. If this is your first time here, this is episode number 387. Getting on up there in the numbers. Moving on up. Yep, that's me, man. Doing the deal, learning every single day as I go, learning a little bit every single day, just like a plant growing. And you don't notice a lot of times the day-to-day change, but then one day you might come back months later and you'll be like, whoa, man. Yeah, this has changed. Okay, all right, all right, all right. So yeah, that's kind of how this show has been, I think. So been making tiny little changes here and there as I go. Trying to keep the music fresh. I hope you like my new music on there. I made it earlier this week. Um, yeah, I make my own music for all this stuff. Make my own graphics. The little daily graphics you see there for the day of the week. Those are paintings that I make with my kids, so yeah, I try to keep it DIY, try to keep it fresh. That's the way I roll is DIY. And yeah, man, got to keep it personal. You don't want to look too flashy and corporate. People love to know that there's a person behind something and not not some monstrous entity controlling them like a little puppet on a string. So that's what this show's all about. It's all about a person struggling through this crypto space, trying to figure it out as he goes along. When that he is me, and every single day I wake up and I brain dump the things that I've learned in the crypto space. And I may be wrong, I may be right. It's obviously not financial advice, and I'm not trying to be instructional or a teacher. I'm not trying to give technical analysis or fundamental analysis. No, man, it's just, stuff I learned. And then, if I'm wrong, I'll correct myself. And believe me, if you're wrong, somebody on YouTube or on the internet will make sure that you're wrong. I always say, that if you want help and you go out there and ask for it, a lot of people will scream back at you, oh, DYOR, do your own research, man, you lazy, but if you, so that's what happens when you ask questions, but if you go out there and you assert something like it, well, then everybody will suddenly just jump chomping at the bit trying to correct you and tell you the right way to think, So I've learned so much that way by providing assertions and having people correct me. I'm like, hey, thanks. All right. So, yeah, man. That's all it takes, just a little bit of humility and the willingness to kind of look like an idiot in air quotes, so I'll look like the idiot so you don't have to. I'll ask some of the stupid questions so you don't have to. And then you can, watch people, correct me, and then I'll come back on here and correct myself or whatever, or yeah. So, or you'll see my opinion change on something. Oh man, yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it's about. That's what life's about, kind of a DIY approach to learning and, just realizing that you got to make mistakes in order to progress further. That's what I love about skateboarding too. And that's why I've been a lifelong skateboarder, wearing my skateboarding hat today. But it's because you constantly fall down, and just tons and tons and tons of iterations of the exact same move until you finally get it and you take those falls and you just let yourself get hit and hurt every single time until you decide, oh, I don't want to do that little move, nuance, because that hurts, so I will slightly adjust myself this time. Ow, that still kind of hurt, but not as bad. I almost have it. Okay, I got it, so that's kind of how skateboarding is, and that's kind of how I'm approaching my whole journey through the crypto space as well, just kind of making subtle changes here and there. All right, man. So, that being said, let's roll on over to the old CoinGecko and see what we have going on here. All right, so let me just refresh the screen. Yesterday we started having a little bit of green, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing because we've had just nothing but a couple weeks of red, so it's nice to see. I don't know if this is like a floor, or what they call like the dead cat bounce and all that stuff. But it's nice to see a little green. I'm not going to sit here and try to assume that I know all the stuff about the charts, the cups and handles, head and shoulders, ascending and descending wedges. So, yeah, no. So Bitcoin at $43,868, up 1.2%. Ethereum $3,363.53 at 1.6% up. Binance Coin 483.07, 2.1%. Tether dollar, it's the stable coin. Yeah, they need to take the stable coins and the wrapped tokens out of here because to me it's just noise. Just fumbles up the rankings. But that's just like my opinion, man. And who am I? So Solana 152.11. Cardano $1.29. Everything is up in the green in the past 24 hours, and most of it in the past 7 days. Terra up 5.0%, Polkadot 1.5%, and that's the top 10. But if you take out the stable coins and you add two more in there, you have Avalanche at 94.56. Just yesterday, it was in the mid 80s, so it's gone up about $10. Avalanche be like that sometimes. About a month ago, it was down at 77 cents, and then it got pumped up to $1.17. And that was, Avalanche might be, if you're into that whole arbitrage type of stuff, man, and the trading stuff. Avalanche might be, a fun little landing spot for you, but I am not. I have about as good of a chance of becoming a Major League Baseball player than I do becoming a professional trader. So, and I always tell people that too. I was like, be careful because there are people that spend their entire lives dedicated to arbitrage and trading and watching charts and having 10 screens up in front of them, and they are professionals. They create bots, trading bots. So if you think if you think you go into your full-time job at the factory or whatever, just like me, and then coming home and jumping in and trying to make some money off of a little arbitrage trade. Yeah. You got a little reality check coming there, man. There's a lot of people that are way ahead of you on that do nothing but eat, sleep, and drink. Nothing but graphs and screens in front of them, and that's what they do. They are professional traders, and they will make sure that they get their fill first. And yeah, so you have about as good of a chance as becoming a Major League Baseball player than you do a professional trader in that aspect. So not to piss in your Wheaties or anything, but it's just like, yeah, I want to set expectations low. Yeah, I want to go for 1%, and then if I get 100%, that's amazing. All right, so Dogecoin is right after Avalanche at 17 cents, up 9.8% in the past 24 hours, so almost 10%. Same thing with the Sheebs. Polygon for a bit just jumped right in the middle between the two doggies, the Doge and the Sheeb, but now it got kicked back out to the wayside. Sorry, Polygon. I like Polygon. I'm a fan of Polygon. So layer 2 solution. And then down here we have Chainlink. We have Binance stablecoin, crypto.com 48 cents, 1.1% up. Chainlink $26.23, down 1.3%. It had a little bit of a boost there, and so did Cosmos for about a week. But now it looks like that run is over for now. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, well, let's move on. I said yesterday that we were going to talk about Boba Network, and I stick to my guns on that. So let's talk about Boba Network. I've been hearing the word Boba Network on like Bankless and stuff like that, and I briefly looked at it the other day. Hold on, let me just pull up a new tab. Here we go. I have a tab with Boba Network already up on it. Let's go back to the home page. So Boba Network is a layer 2 scaling platform, right? So you have things like Optimism, you have Arbitrum, you have Polygon Matic. Although a lot of people consider that more of a side chain, and then you have XDAI as well. You have ZK Sync. You have Starkware coming out. If it's not already out, I think Immutable X uses Starkware. So yeah, a lot of these alternatives are popping up to try to save the Ethereum scalability issue that's happening on layer 1. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that a lot of people are trying to use Ethereum, and Ethereum has gotten congested like a traffic jam. So people are trying to figure out various ways to alleviate that traffic jam. And what happens is, while a lot of transactions are in the waiting room, getting ready to be mined and put on the block, the way Ethereum works is people pay premium on their gas charges in order to be first. And then that happens, that creates a spike in the gas prices, and everybody gets frustrated and pissed off and all that stuff. So, that's kind of how that goes. So, let's take a quick look first before we go into Boba Network. All right. So Cointelegraph has a pretty good article. I will link this in the description of just some of the basics of understanding the layers of blockchain technology. So now there is the various layers of blockchain technology, and then there's the whole idea of blockchain scalability, and that's called the Blockchain Trilemma. So the blockchain trilemma refers to the commonly held notion that in terms of decentralization, security, and scalability, decentralized networks can only provide two of the three benefits at any one time. So you can't have all three: decentralization, security, and scalability. It's like nearly impossible. And that's what people are trying to solve. And these layer 2 solutions are creating kind of I don't know, a band-aid or something over this trilemma issue for these layer 1s. Computer scientists devised the consistency, availability, and partition tolerance, the CAP theorem, in 1980s to express possibly the most significant of these difficulties. The CAP theorem states that decentralized data storage, such as blockchain, can only satisfy two of the three guarantees mentioned above simultaneously, right? So this theorem is involved into the blockchain trilemma in the context of the current distributed networks. The widely held notion is that public blockchain infrastructure must sacrifice security, decentralization, or scalability. And you see a lot of different variations of this throughout a bunch of different blockchains. Like for instance, Solana, it's a layer 1 blockchain, and a lot of people says that Solana is not very decentralized, but it's very fast and it's very scalable. So I don't know. Yeah, and yes. But it's very secure because only a few people run the nodes, I guess, right? But yeah, it's not very decentralized, so it can easily be controlled by the whims of just a couple people or a corporation or something like that. That's just one example. And then you have Bitcoin, which is super secure and decentralized, but it's not very scalable at all. Is it like 6 transactions per second or something? I don't know. It's just really slow. And yeah, so there's various blockchains with different approaches to this. Anyway, as a result, the holy grail of blockchain technology is to create a network with impenetrable security over a broadly decentralized network while also handling internet scale transactional throughput. Transactions at the speed of life. Like for instance, say you're driving a car and there's a lot of smart contract, Internet of Things type of stuff running your car, and you don't want that car to run through that light because it wasn't fast enough to make a decision to stop. Oh man. As a result, the holy grail of blockchain technology is to create a network with impenetrable security over a decentralized network while also handling internet scale transactional throughput. Okay, before delving into the trilemmas, dynamics, let's define scalability and decentralization in general terms. Okay, so the blockchain scalability is its ability to handle a higher volume of transactions. So think about scalability like this. I have, okay, so for instance, beer at the Astrodome, right? Back in the 80s, they called it dome foam, and you get your freaking Bud Light beer, or whatever it was back in the 80s. I was too young to drink then. And it had they called it dome foam because the games were at the Astrodome, right? Well, then later on, in the 2000s, somebody created a brewery called the Eighth Wonder Brewery, and they created a beer called Dome Foam, and they tried to capture that essence of that cheap, crappy beer with the lots of foam at the top and stuff like that, and they tried to mass produce that for a larger audience. And that's scalability right there, to take one concept one place and then try to scale up the exact same thing to a lot larger audience. So yeah, man, dome foam for everybody, So oh man, yeah. So anyway, let's see. The blockchains. Okay, so security refers to the ability to secure data on the blockchain from various types of assaults and the blockchain's defense against double spending. So yeah, you don't want double spending on the blockchain. There have been some possible attempts at double spending on Ethereum and Bitcoin, and they've always found ways to fix those issues, as far as I know. So yeah, decentralization is a type of network, and then decentralization, a type of network redundancy that ensures the network is not controlled by fewer entities. So the more people that run nodes for a blockchain, the more decentralized that network is. But then that slows down the network, and it takes longer for all the computers to reach a consensus, so that they have come up with the same answer. So imagine a street, like with white picket fences and stuff like that, and you have Aunt May out there, and she has a crossword puzzle, and she's out there and she yells on the street, C9 is ladder, like. And then so all the other Aunt Mays, go out to their front porches, and they're all checking to see their crossword puzzles if they have the same answer. Well, the longer that street is, and all the Aunt Mays sitting there, checking each other's crossword puzzles up and down the street for complete accuracy. That's consensus right there. So now they all know that ladder is at C9. So um, all right, man. So, I guess yeah, C9. I haven't done a crossword puzzle in forever, so maybe I have that analogy kind of wrong, but you kind of get what I'm talking about. All right. So anyway, let's go on down here. So there's a bunch of different layers to a blockchain transaction, and I've talked a lot about like layer ones have this monolithic architecture, and think about it like a CPU. Back in the early days of computers, up until I don't know, fairly recently, people were trying to put all the functions of a computer on one microchip. And then now, since AMD came out with a different way of doing things over and above IBM, and IBM was suddenly scrambling around after that trying to create their own, AMD came out with a modular type of architecture in their computer chip with a bunch of one main processor in the beginning, in the middle, to try to route all these functions, and then a bunch of little smaller co-processors around it. So they broke it up into a modular architecture. Well, blockchain kind of has that too, but a lot of these layer ones, they're still doing what IBM was doing by doing everything on the blockchain. So in the case of blockchain architecture's distributed network, each network participant maintains, authorizes, and updates new entries. A collection of blocks with transactions in a specific order represents the structure of blockchain technology. So that there's 6 layers of blockchain architecture: application and presentation, the consensus layer, the network layer, the data layer, the hardware infrastructure layer. So within all these, there's a bunch of other type of little tasks as well. For instance, like data execution and stuff like that. And yeah, so there's a lot of little things that can be separated out. Well, this is what layer 2 solutions do: is they separate out a lot of these little functions, and then they take care of those on the layer 2 solutions. So when you see things like Arbitrum and ZK Sync and Polygon and stuff like that, and then now Boba Network and stuff like that, they're taking care of some of these layers and some of these things going on the blockchain that layer ones try to take care of all by itself, just in the block, and it just takes forever, and it's big and doomy and so no, they're using these layer 2s to take care of some of these elements that can be taken care of, that don't need to be done all on layer 1. But that's what layer 1s are doing right now, that are not. And this is what Ethereum is trying to do by moving to Ethereum in quotes 2.0. They're not necessarily, the actual Ethereum Foundation, I don't think, likes the term Ethereum 2.0. What they're doing is they're creating a whole new way of doing things, from a monolithic to a modular type of architecture. And So it's still the same Ethereum, but they're just breaking it out into parts. So layer one, so first is layer zero. Components include internet hardware and connections that will enable layer one to run smoothly. Like your hardware. Got your computer box. Anyway, layer one. This layer is in charge of consensus process, programming languages, block time, dispute resolution, and the rules and parameters that maintain blockchain networks' basic functionality. It's also known as the implementation layer. Bitcoin and Ethereum right now are layer one blockchains. So is Avalanche, and so is Cardano, and so is Cosmos, and so is Zilliqa, and pretty much most blockchains out there. So and they're all monolithic. So these scaling solutions boost the network's throughput when used together. However, with a growing number of blockchain users, Layer 1 appears to be falling short. The archaic and clumsy proof of work consensus process is still in use on the Layer 1 blockchain. While this approach is more secure than others, it's limited by its speed. Miners are required to solve cryptographic algorithms using computational power. As a result, more computational power and time are required in the long run. Also, the workload on Layer 1 blockchain has increased. The number of users has grown. Processing speeds and capacities have slowed as a result. Proof of stake is an alternate consensus that Ethereum 2.0 will adopt. And this approach certifies new transaction data blocks based on the staking collateral of network participants. And then sharding is a scaling solution for the burden on the layer one blockchain problem. I don't know if sharding has been implemented into Ethereum quite yet or not, but it's being worked on. Simply said, sharding divides the tasks of validating and authenticating transactions into smaller, easier to manage chunks. As a result, the workload can be distributed over the network to use more nodes computing capability. Think about shards like splitting off a database into like East Coast customers and West Coast customers and stuff like that. Very basic description, but kind of get the general idea, I guess. Layer two. So the overlapping networks that sit on top of these are layer 2 solutions. Protocols make use of layer 2 to increase scalability by removing some interactions from the base layer. And as a result, smart contracts in the primary blockchain protocol only deal with deposits and withdrawals and ensure off-chain transactions follow the regulations. Layer 2 is a third-party integration used in conjunction with layer 1 to enhance the number of nodes and as a result, system throughput. Many layer 2 blockchains are being implemented at present. So, then they just start describing nested blockchains, and OMG is one of those. And OMG is kind of old, as far as layer 2 solutions are concerned, and Plasma as well. And so OMG is kind of, it's a Plasma project. And so then there's, hold on a second, and then there's state channels, which is the Bitcoin Lightning Network. There's side chains, and then there's roll-ups. Okay, so in order to understand Boba, we need to understand what OMG Network is. All right. So Boba Network is an offshoot from OMG Network. Okay. So OMG Network is a scaling solution, and it's kind of one of the earlier scaling solutions. And it was built to be a layer 2 solution for Ethereum. So, but OMG Network is transaction based. I don't think that it was meant for DeFi and dApps and things like that. So that's just, I'm not certain of that, but this is my impression. So OMG Network is now OMG Foundation. Eh, I can just imagine, like, the suits in high places when they're trying to study blockchain, and they're like trying to tell investors to invest in the OMG network. It sounds like a 14-year-old girl, and like, no, this OMG network is the future. These guys, these gray hairs are sitting there looking at them like. Anyway, so ENYA is building Boba Network as a core contributor to the OMG Foundation. Boba is a next generation Ethereum layer 2 optimistic roll-up scaling solution that reduces gas fees, improves transaction throughput, and extends the capabilities of smart contracts. Okay, so now OMG is moving towards Boba Network. So ENYA is the developer, the development company of OMG Foundation. So a lot of these blockchains are open source. They are independent. They're supposed to not be run by anybody. They're protocols, right? Just like Zcash, they are run by the Electric Coin Foundation. Ethereum is run by the Ethereum Foundation. These are companies that are basically doing a lot of the decision making and the development, but the blockchain protocol is separate from these companies supposedly. So Anyway, so OMG Network was made to be a solution for Plasma Network, which takes care of some of the transaction functionality off chain, and then it validates it and it verifies it using the Ethereum blockchain. So that's what the OMG Network does. Um, and I don't know how effective it's been. I don't know what apps run on it, but I know that they've done things like integrating Tether. They've integrated, I believe, with Visa. They've been trying to be more of like the go-to on-point payment network type of layer 2 network to allow Ethereum to be scalable to daily types of transactions for things like coffee. Yeah. I don't even drink coffee, but everybody uses coffee as the example. So, um, yeah, so ENYA is the developer of that. And when I think ENYA, I think like the wispy singer, Stay, was it? Sail away, sail away, sail away. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I don't think this is the same ENYA, unless ENYA got into like cryptocurrency, and I don't think that's it, man. Enya, not Enya the singer, but Enya the scaling solution, the AI Enya.ai. So why I got sidetracked. Okay. Anyway, they have been developing Boba, the layer 2 solution, and Boba, instead of using Plasma, they are now using rollups, and they're using this rollup technology to come out with Boba. And so this is where a lot of the bleeding edge of the technology is in rollups and rollups. And Arbitrum also is a rollup solution, and Arbitrum has been highly successful. If you look at layer 2 solutions, for instance, take a look at layer 2 B tier. You'll see, I believe that Arbitrum should probably be the #1 layer 2 scaling solution on here. Let me just go ahead and pull this up. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, Arbitrum is #1 right now in total value locked. That's because Arbitrum has a ton of dApps on it. And that's one thing I look at. There's some really good layer 2 solutions out there, but they don't seem to have a ton of dApps like ZK Sync. I don't know how many dApps ZK Sync has on it right now, but it's #10 in total value locked, which is pretty good. And Boba Network is #5. So yeah, pretty good, man. Polygon Hermes, that's a roll-up solution part of Polygon. Anyway, so let's go back over here and let's just take a quick little gander at the Arbitrum portal.arbitrum.1, and you'll see here, there are tons of applications for Arbitrum. That's one thing that Arbitrum did was when it came out onto the world stage, it came out with a whole buttload of different dApps that you can use. And I sat there and I spent nothing but like 2 weeks on Arbitrum, just going through, checking out dApps and seeing what they do and poking around, wasting money, just trying to figure out what all this stuff does. So you can see Aave's about to come out with on Arbitrum as well. 1inch is on Arbitrum, Adamant. Let's so yeah, there's a ton of different dApps to play around with on Arbitrum, and a bunch of different ways to make money, a bunch of different ways to save money, a bunch, yeah, yeah. So Boba, I went and I went to go to their website and I took a look and I started poking around their ecosystem too to see what they have to offer. And they have, that not a shabby little, smorgasbord buffet of dApps, right now to offer you. So let's see here. Some of the partners: Coin98 wallet, my Ethereum wallet, which is the oldest Ethereum wallet out there. Yeah, if you look into the history of Ethereum, my Ethereum wallet was right there at the very beginning during the major DAO hack. And if you don't know what the DAO hack is, look it up. It's exciting. Camila Russo writes about it in her book, The Infinite Machine. But anyway, let me go and let's look at this ecosystem, shall we? Let's go to ecosystem. And I believe I'd already signed in to Boba. And the cool thing about it too is previously, whenever you were sitting here trying to get on these layer 2 solutions and stuff like that, you had to sit there and look up the RPC, the remote procedure call, and enter the enter all the information into your MetaMask wallet settings. You don't have to do that anymore. Apparently, it seems, because whenever I was switching from layer 1 to layer 2, it automatically said, would you like to add Boba as an RPC to your wallet? And I said, yes. And it did it. I didn't have to go in there and manually like do a search for Boba RPC MetaMask like I had to do for so many of these others. It just automatically entered it in there for me. Of course, always double check. I did. I went and I double checked the RPC address to make sure it was legit, and it was. But yeah, you never be too safe. But I had to make sure I was at a legitimate Boba site as well. So. Anyway, it allows you to switch between layer 1 and layer 2 right here. It automatically added Boba RPC to my MetaMask wallet, which is cool. And I found that when I was playing around on the Phantom network the other day, that it did that for me there as well. So I'm glad the integration is starting to fall into place, because it can be confusing for a lot of new people. The whole RPC thing, adding different RPCs into your wallets. Yeah, and it shows my balance on Ethereum mainnet. It allows me to bridge. Looks like Sushi's into the game. Sushi Swap has been really good about being accessible and interoperable with a bunch of different blockchains and different layer 2 solutions. So good on Sushi Swap. If Uniswap does not follow suit into this, I don't know if Uniswap is really going to make it, honestly. I mean, Uniswap's huge, don't get me wrong. I mean, Uniswap's going to make it, but like, it's just like, yeah, Sushi Swap is going along with the program, in my perspective, by allowing themselves to be usable on all these different blockchains and different layer 2 solutions. So anyway, so here's the Boba network. Let's go look at some of these. Let's see, go back to this ecosystem, see if I can use some of these dApps. Okay, so here's some of the different dApps as I wait for this page to refresh. Let me move this screen over just a little bit. Let me pull this in and then move this over and then pull this out. Sorry for the audio listeners while I correct this out for the visual listeners, but you'll get the better audio quality. So anyway, so look at some of these dApps on here. There's Frax, there's CyberDAO. I don't know that, but it looks interesting. Multi-chain. I've used multi-chain, and it's a good bridge. The Synapse bridge, I've used that as well. I don't know what SwapperChain is. There's Zencha, Unidex, LairSwap, Boba Punk's an NFT platform. So it'll allow you to also bridge NFTs back and around and up and down all over the different ecosystem. DBank, that's also available on Arbitrum. Different wallets, Senpai Swap, Dodo, Apeboard, and Band Protocol as a tool. Here's the My Ethereum wallet, the oldest Ethereum wallet out there. Coin98, L2 charts, Boba apes. I guess everybody's got to have their punk and their ape. Every single layer 2 solution and every single blockchain, it seems now. It's kind of like the McDowells, if you ever seen Coming to America. Oh, man. Yeah, and then Theta Nuts. I thought that was an interesting one because I used to broadcast a lot on Theta TV till it became a pain in the ass. But I checked out what Theta Nuts was, and Theta Nuts is interesting. It's a finance platform, and there's vaults on there to where you can get some pretty good APYs, but it allows you to do options. It's an options protocol on here. So it has these little various cards at the front called docs, and then it allows you to do puts and calls and stuff like that. And yeah, so Yeah, if you're into the options trading and stuff like that, this might be fun for you. I am not into options trading. I get my ass handed to me every single time I do it. But so I'll sit on the sidelines for that. But if you love options trading, that is something for you. If you love structured products, and structured products was never really a word of vocabulary in my head until I got into crypto. But as the market matures, derivatives such as options, forwards, and futures will naturally develop to meet more sophisticated demands and promote liquidity. Structured products allow a participant to profit from volatility, range trading, and have access to more intricate risk management strategies. Our vaults allow for structured products to be deployed in a strategy such as a covered call or covered put to earn yield. There are many strategies that structured products are capable of performing in order to maximize yield for all market conditions. So yeah, man. I mean, I wasn't sitting here trying to look at theta nuts and structured products and all that stuff, but I just was kind of pointing out an example of just some of the stuff that's available on Boba Network, and then here it allows you to look up your favorite layer 2 charts, and see where things are trading at and stuff like that. So I guess they offer one DEX only. So let's see what DEX that is available on the Boba network. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where ecosystem here. All right. So what is this DEX on here? I guess I should have figured that out before I jumped on to talk about this. I don't know, but yeah, here's a Unidex on here. Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm sure there's other dexes on there, whatever dex that one was pointing to. But yeah, so let's see here. Let's run back to Enya real quick before I'm over time, so I need to stop this. But there's just so much to cover, and I want to try to make sure that everybody's kind of understanding what I'm understanding, but it's not possible all the time, and that's why I go way too deep into fundamentals before I talk about some of this stuff. But anyway, real quick, back to scaling. Ethereum created the first decentralized computing platform and made possible the proliferation of DeFi and NFT projects today. However, due to its limited compute capacity, Ethereum's success has also become an obstacle to growth. ENYA is committed to creating a world where everyone in the community can participate and benefit from the growth of decentralized blockchain networks through the creation of the Boba ecosystem. And ENYA is an offshoot of OMG Network that created Boba, right? Okay, so Boba Network is an Ethereum Layer 2 optimistic rollup scaling solution that reduces gas fees, improves transaction throughput, and extends the capabilities of smart contracts. Boba stands out among Ethereum Layer 2 solutions due to its streamlined exit of crypto assets from Boba to Ethereum, extensible smart contracts, and soon decentralized autonomous organization DAO governance. This solution offers the best of both worlds, security and decentralization rooted in Ethereum. No compromise like a multi-sig bridge wallet, but also low transaction costs and fast execution that was available on OMG Network. So DAO governance is going to be available. That'll be interesting. But will it be able to take the place of Discord? Probably not, but we'll see. Let's see here. Scalability is always a challenge for any computing platform. We still want faster CPUs after all these years. Over time, however, here's what I was talking about. Computers evolved from one general purpose CPU doing all the work to having a constellation of coprocessors, each of which specializing in a more focused set of operations that could be performed more efficiently, right? So yeah, computers evolved from one general purpose CPU doing all that work, all those different steps and layers that I showed you way at the beginning, to a constellation of different coprocessors, each breaking it into parts. And so it speeds it up. Our users and developers will always demand more from us, Enya's saying this, and we look forward to working with the rest of the Ethereum community to rise to the challenge. So yeah, that's ENYA.ai in a nutshell. Boba, they created Boba, and then OMG, the ENYA.ai came from OMG Network, and OMG Network was a Layer 2 solution that was focused on transaction processing as a Layer 2 solution for Ethereum. So it was covering that aspect of it. And the OMG network has been around for quite a while now. I think since, I don't know, but 2017 at least. So, all right, man. Well, that being said, I got to go ahead and cut it and get the on out of here. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and who knows what we'll be talking about tomorrow. So, all right. Well, later.
Thank you for making it to the end of this program. If you actually like this content, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, just hit the subscribe button. I'm available on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute, and on all the major podcasting platforms in audio version. Spotify specifically. If you would like to follow and leave a review, that would help a lot. I am also available on Twitter at EurekaJohn1. That's EUREKA John, JOHN, and the number 1. My DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a message. Thanks again.